Hey you guys, welcome back. I wanted to show a quick update. I've squeaked my way up to Arena 6. I've got a pretty good rate at this point. I can hang in here and do fairly well. I'll show the team that I'm using. I'm just barely a level 6, so most of the people that I play against are either further along or higher level, but it's going pretty well. And I'm happy just to be at the Builder's Workshop and get some of these items that are kind of fun to use as well, some of these cards, and I'll show a little bit of that. So let's go back over and look at the team I've been using recently. This has been a lot of fun. I'm going to show some videos using this team. I've got kind of medium levels. I've got probably the highest here with the minion horde. Otherwise, just kind of right around the middle. I haven't even bothered to upgrade the skeletons. They're really a delay unit, and it works really well to have one that you can either to swap through your cards more quickly, or when they got the knight charging in, and you can just throw that out there. It doesn't matter. You're going to take huge damage on that charge because it's only going to happen to one of these 4 tiny skeletons. So it works really well as a counter for that card. That's a really popular card, and even for other groups. If you've got the 4 barbarians or something, they're coming down, and you're not really ready to handle them, you can throw that a little ways off, and just the walking time will waste some of the time as well. I use that for when they've got like a musketeer running down right before she gets in range to be able to shoot the tower, drop those right on top of her. Usually she's taken out before getting any shots off. So a couple different things. We'll look at some of the videos to show actual gameplay with it, but having a lot of fun. I'll scan down through here in case anyone's interested where these guys are so far. Still a free-to-play account. I was pretty happy to get the mortar here just recently. I was upgrading it a little bit. Haven't found a good rotation. Not a lot of people using this regularly. If you can come up with a team that's or a set of cards that's defensive enough that you just throw that over trying to take out their tower. The hard thing is it doesn't focus on buildings, and so it's hard to actually get it to attack and hold on that building. But otherwise, I think it's really fun to have attack buildings with this kind of range. Kind of like a weaker version of the catapult, which I haven't been able to unlock yet. That one too, it's got a slow attack even after it launches. It's up there for quite a while, so just a kind of a slower response time. But let's get to some of those gameplay videos. I've been having a lot of fun with this game, and I'd like to share some of those and some of the strategy. So here, we'll transition over to that now. Alright guys, let's check out some of this gameplay. Now this is a very defensive deck aside from the basically the shots. You're going to be shooting at the towers. There's no way to block the damage. And that's going to be the primary way that you take out their towers. Everything else is just to survive. So ideally I like to lead with the bomber tower. It gives me a good defensive setup right away, but I didn't have that out this time, so we've got to do a little bit to compensate for that. Whenever possible, I'm playing just on my side. We've got now the arrows, the fireball. Those are kind of primary for clearing out lower levels. Here, just getting to a better setup. So this whole first 50 seconds, I would say, of this fight was just getting so that I've got the cards that I need set up in the right positions. All right, so now we've got the tower. We're holding on. We're waiting for it. Don't want to give them too much time to react, but we also want to make sure we've got, leave our options open. So they throw something down. Again, they see what we're doing, but we don't want to have Elixir waiting there. So I'm going to throw the Witch to the far right side so I don't get as much of that poison spell, and so that I have something to do some damage to this high health character. Another thing, watch this upper right. I actually throw the bomb out. I've been doing this, getting really good at it. If I can take out a 5 elixir character with a 6 elixir bomb and do tower damage, that's ideal for me. That's the best case scenario. You're going to see a lot of things. I try to do elixir trades in the right direction to try to work myself towards elixir surplus basically. And what I mean by that is, if there's a dragon that does area damage, I want to take them out with a musketeer. If they throw out a queen, I'm going to try to take her out with the giant bomb. That kind of stuff, so that I can get a surplus of elixir in comparison to what they're using. So they basically are wasting it. I get, effectively 1 elixir to do damage to their tower if I'm taking out their 5 elixir witch there. Alright, so they're going to throw a whole bunch right here. And we're going to take that time to go ahead and use our fireball. They're clogging it up, but they're going to just take out that tower. No damage to our tower, really. You know, we've got enough to just clog up in there, and it really makes a big difference where you place these guys. You don't want to place your troops too close together. There's a lot. It's kind of subtle, but you'll see as we're going through these that where you place them makes a huge difference. And there, I just felt like I had a little too much of the elixir. Like I could take that chance to throw it out there, and I'm doing pretty well with the defense. Otherwise, I wouldn't normally waste one of those on a high health unit like that. And they usually get wise to where I'm going to throw those bombs after I do it once or twice and take out a witch right away. Alright, so we held off that defense as well. Again, we're just taking a little bit of damage on our tower, and we can put out, we see that that bomb tower is close by there. We get our skeletons out, do a little extra damage, and just when they're getting close, we can drop that bomb tower again. So it works really well. A lot of times I'll put my my witch over on the far edge of the map, kind of just protect a little bit more and put those, just basically a creator for those skeletons. They're going to do the white, but if I hold her there long enough, I can blow her up as well. So now they're down to 300 health on this thing. I do have to say, with this deck, almost every match goes to overtime. And it's probably common for a lot of upper level battles generally, but for me, I can't ever finish unless they're a really bad player in the regular time. I've got to go to overtime, and then we're going to win. Because it takes that long when I'm throwing out. I don't do that much damage just using these giant bombs. But I'd say a lot of our victories are in the last 15 seconds of overtime. And it really comes down to just how often can you get those bombs out. The bombs, and then also, you know, fireballs add to it. And as a last resort, when there's just a little bit of health left, even throwing those arrows. The nice thing is you can usually do 500, maybe even 600 damage in the last like 20 seconds with no repercussions. Where normally it takes a lot of planning early in a match to use a bomb or something, especially the giant bomb, because you're going to be losing, you know, you're losing 6, and it's a short-term advantage when they could, like, you know, they know that you're out of elixir, they can use some bigger units and cause a lot of trouble. So there's a lot of concern in the early part of a match, but when you get near the end of a match, when you get right there near the end of the overtime, you can completely deplete yourself, and they can be running at your towers. If you've got a decent amount of health left, it doesn't matter. There's nothing they can do. So, got to well time that fireball right there. I usually like to use the arrows instead, but they weren't available. The nice thing is, if I didn't have either one of those, I could have taken a lot of damage. So having both of them in my deck makes it a lot easier. It's, I guess, more forgiving for times when I've already used those on something else. So here we're both kind of saving up, getting ready. I think they're trying to figure out what should I do. They haven't really taken any significant amount off our towers, trying to change up their strategy. Start a guy in the back. I'm ready. I'll put my musketeer to the far left. And now if they do a full swarm of those guys, I usually would use the arrows right away of the minion horde. But with just 3 of them, I'm going to let it slide. There's enough left in our tower to take out that batch right there. And again, we start with a much better position. So I'd say one of the strongest things about this deck is that, you know, the opponent really has to push. They've got to do something to move it along, because if they just chill out back there, you're going to keep bombing them. You've got a pretty good amount of firepower to continue putting a couple different types of bombs, either the fireball or the massive bomb. And so that's going to cause them too much trouble. So they've got to figure out what to do to push, and the rest of the deck is fairly defensive. You can keep up pretty well as long as you're timing the stuff and can react quickly. So again, the tower going there in the middle, left side spreading these out. You don't want them to be close by. One, because you want them to have to run back and forth if you've got any melee guys in there. You want them to have to run back and forth to attack you. You don't want to line your guys all up in one place so they can use their overwhelming numbers to take you out. Alright, so we're doing this. Now we got to drop just about full elixir. We see the knight there. He can cause a lot of damage. But we're going to put down, we had our kind of blanket, just a little 4 skeletons, and then put out the witch. Not too much trouble now. We can finish them all off with the arrows. So they did a big rush as soon as I did the big bomb. And that's going to happen basically every time. So you've got to be really careful about when you're using that. It's a lot easier to use it in the last minute and in overtime because the gauge fills up so quickly. So if they're doing a rush, you can pretty much just keep up with it. As long as you're, staying right on top of things. If it's on your side of the board, you've got defensive towers up, it can work out really well. So here, they're down to 800. We don't have too much left. About 40 seconds left in the match, so we've really got to do everything we can. If we could get off a couple more hits and one more cannonball, we'd be, or one more giant bomb, we'd be doing just fine. So here, 320 left. I know one bomb would take that out. We've got 20 seconds. We've still got to defend as well. If we do these arrows, I see it's going to open up, and we'll have just enough time. It doesn't matter with the 3 little swarm coming down, because we've done such a good job on defense the rest of the time. There's no real concern, and we can finish this one off as well. Alright, so now let's go to a live battle with this. So it was recorded live, but I'm still just going to narrate it afterwards. It's pretty hard to narrate these at the same time. At least for me, I need pretty good concentration going through them. But we'll include this one, maybe even jump back to some other recorded ones with this same deck. So here, starting off again. Can't see what they have, but we can see what we started off. This is not a good starting 4 cards for me. So again, part of this first minute is going to be just maintaining a decent position so that you can come back and put, get a card set up that works a little better. We're going to set that just offset so we can cover both sides, but dominantly on the right side. And then try to hold off this skeleton bomber dude. Hopefully we can take out the back one, and he's gone. And make sure that that bomb explodes away from our towers. Even though it is a pain that's taken out our witch. Alright, my favorite. Set that rocket up and rain it down. There's the wow. Every time I enjoy it. But one of the things I really like about this deck, there's so many combinations, good strategies in this game, which is really a lot of fun. But it's a blast. It's a literal blast to blow up somebody else's witch. As they're coming, this big old 5 elixir investment they made, and it's just gone. Not to mention, insult to injury, they've taken some tower damage as well. So, again, we've got their giant skeleton. He's just there to block things up. We'll throw another bomb tower out so we can get everybody, as long as he explodes right there, no problem. They've got some other guys right next to him, and we'll wipe out the rest with our arrows. So the queen works really well for one reason, for one thing, just to block the place up, because we're trying to just form kind of just a shield to do a lot of damage. Here we're not going to have enough to take her all the way out, but we can do some damage to a tower and at least make it so we don't have to deal with their witch. And we love those buildings in the back. Makes it easy. We've already got a tower up. I wouldn't just throw a rocket any time. It's very strategic when I'm throwing these, where I feel like I could probably respond. So what does that mean? I've got a defensive tower up. I love that bomber tower. Originally, I didn't really like it all that much. But I've also got the skeletons. So there's a lot of stuff they could throw that I could respond with that one, with the tower and that 1 energy or 1 elixir batch of skeletons there, where I could respond really, really well and not have a whole lot of risk. And I keep pounding away at this thing. This was actually a relatively easy or straightforward. I threw it a little bit early because they didn't put out their building just yet. But I'm having a pretty good match anyway. Just need to get someone else out there to take care of this this rider dude here. Because once we go into overtime, I just need to hit it one more time, and then a fireball I think is all it'll take to take it out. But I don't want to be too, push too hard and end up losing a lot of life on a tower here. So I'm going to sacrifice this fireball. I've got plenty of time for overtime to take them out. Again, the skeletons, just to get this guy out of the way. Those riding that knight can cause a lot of trouble if you're not ready for them. And when you're using those giant bombs, it takes away so much elixir. I wish there was a little bit lower elixir cost option, but that's the reason it costs so much. It's a good one to use. It's a lot of fun. Can do a lot of damage. It's all right. We got 25 seconds left and only 192 health left. So I can't quite take that out with a fireball. I don't think. I think it's going to take a fireball and some arrows. But it's all that I need to do. Those 2 shots and we'll be done. I didn't want that knight taking us out too quickly. So throw the arrows. Plenty of health due to the good defense. And we don't have to worry about it. Finish the game. 4 seconds left. Just the right amount of time. Let's see if we can get a couple more of these recorded battles in this gameplay as well. Okay, let's look at a couple more battles in the Builder's Workshop. So here we go. They just started off real quick, threw out some guys right away, get some early damage. Not a bad route. I mean, for the cost, for 2 elixir, that worked out really well for them. Had to throw down a musketeer who had to think quickly and figure out. Usually people hold up, wait, kind of figure out what they've got in their deck and go from there. But not a bad start. Didn't have exactly what I wanted for the cards either, so we had to kind of build up to that. Not surprising they threw the guy over top there, but able to take him out pretty quickly with our minion horde. He didn't have any arrows or anything. It seems like that's a pretty big weakness. You can see he's got a poison spell over there, so that's going to be his main attack. For ranged kind of attacks like that. Alright, so kind of distracting, shooting across, using our witch here, and taking some early damage. It wasn't a great start for this battle. Going, even, dropping in, we're not going to get any damage off with that witch either. Just trying to get a better situation, figure out what we're going to do here, what's going to work, and kind of what cards they have. So far, they're in the lead. We've got one tower down to 1,600. On our side, they're just down to 1,900. They're certainly, I haven't done anything really useful so far, just trying to get a better setup. Here, one thing you'll point out is that the minions, when I put them out, I put them to the far left. Don't put them directly over top of the tower or the defensive structure you're trying to use there, because they'll just be attacked with the area effect from that little dragon. So that was intentional, getting them to that far side. And because of that, they had some damage, some life left over, again, because he doesn't have arrows. And I was able to then do quite a bit of damage. So that left tower, that became the target. That one's down much lower, down 1,400. That's something I can work with. Throw out an early bomb, get it, drop it a little bit further and see what we can do from there. Let them move their witch down. Looks like they're gonna try to do a big push here, and they've got that poison working. But we're gonna throw out our tower and throw out a little spell down there as well, so we can try to survive through this. Looks like it's just in time. We're going to take a little bit of damage on our tower here as well. They'll get it down just a little under where the damage level we've got their other one at. We'll throw another bomb, try to even that out a little bit, bring it down to the 700. And this is progressing really quickly. We're doing a lot of damage. Usually it's not so aggressive. Usually it's a little bit more, it's a little bit more time here. We'll throw out that fireball and really decimate that group. But they're pushing fairly hard, and that's moving this game along a little more quickly. Like I said, usually the damage I do is mostly in that last minute and then the minute of overtime. But this one got pushed forward a little bit. And here, the elixir meter fills so quickly, it gives us a lot of shots, a lot of chances to try to move that forward. Every time they throw out that hog rider, presents a pretty big risk for us. And this, again, this wasn't the best matchup for me, but I'm able to keep taking down a little bit more health. And now at the 365, that means just one more shot. So be defensive, keep that tower up, keep our right tower up. We're in overtime, so first shot or first tower down is going to win. So I just had to get through here. Again, spacing, don't put them right next to each other, get that musketeer off to the side. Just give myself enough space so they can't run anybody over there, and I can get off this rocket and take out that last tower. So again, just about last 15, we're at 16 seconds. That's right about where we want to be with this team. Alright, last battle here. Level 7, again, pretty common, especially up here at the Builder's Workshop. I love it when they start out with tears. I don't know why, it just makes me feel good. It's like it's foreboding their future sorrow. But we'll start off here again with my favorite, a 5-cost unit, and they always get mad and react so quickly. But when they throw that across, they're basically throwing away that guy. If I've got a full health tower there, he's not going to be able to do anything more. The arrows from our own towers are going to take out that rider. And it is, we've got one elixir, but it's also helped us to get caught back up because he was still doing some damage at the same time. And then that musketeer to do a little bit of damage as well. So we got it's not my favorite exchange if you can't completely take out the witch. I'd prefer just to get her entirely, but again, trying to work down that tower. And they give me a great opportunity here. It was really a gamble to put a low life, low health witch in there and then throw a minion horde right behind. it brings up a good point. When I see higher level characters or players, I even sometimes go against level 8 players here. The one thing I try to remember is they're either trolling to get down that low, or they're just not that good at the game. And so it's, you know, it's not as intimidating as it might seem when you're playing characters that are, or players that are much higher level. We can take out this group. Again, we're minimizing damage. We're not taking too much. At least it's spread between the 2 towers here. And the witch, I don't like to send her off like this. She's not very effective against towers like that. You see, she was taken out, didn't do any real amount of damage. The only time I usually put her out like that is if I've just got too much elixir altogether. Normally she's more of a defensive. I put her there to kind of plug up the lane as she keeps spawning off all of those. But down to 1100 with a minute left, this is a good place for me. It's about 3 shots of the rocket, which we'll have plenty of time to do with the full 2 minutes of doubled up elixir. They're going to put that elixir generator over there, but we're not going to take our focus off this low health tower here. Again, you know, 2 more shots and that thing will be out of there. We've got some defending to do real quick here. Take that Hog Rider. They throw a bunch of these, it just begs us to use those arrows. And they're all out. That was such a good exchange for 3 elixir, and we took out all sorts of troops. And again here, I get another shot at one of my favorite exchanges. Those elixir collectors are really expensive, so I know that they're down to low elixir. You know, take it out. They're not going to get any benefit, and they spent all that. Just really, really useful. Takes them down to 187, something I could pretty much get away with for just a fireball. But we're going to save up, get the rocket over there, plenty of time left, and that'll do it for this match. So that was it. I hope this was helpful. It sure is a lot of fun for me. Come again back soon, and we'll see everyone then. Thanks a lot.
If you liked this, then you're going to love what we have coming out next. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more mobile gaming videos, or check out the rest of the channel for more tips and tricks. If you don't have this game yet, feel free to download it from the sponsored link in the video description below. These downloads help to support the channel and help us to continue to put out more great videos. Thanks again for all your support, and come back soon as we continue our quest, seeking every possible advantage.